So we've been in this quarantine for a couple of weeks now, and I know that a lot of you are getting bombarded with messages across social media regarding self-care, and it seems to be coming from two opposite sides of the spectrum. So on one hand, it's like honor yourself and relax and watch Netflix and take a bath and drink all the beer and the champagne because you deserve it. You deserve a break. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, which is like you need to work out every single day for an hour at a time and go balls to the wall and eat clean and make all these gourmet foods and be the best you can be. But while both these sides of the spectrum are promoting supposed self care, what actually is self care? Because we're getting two conflicting messages. And a lot of us don't actually know what self care looks like, and we're not told or taught what that should look like. So, we're talking about self care today and why mental mindfulness is one of the best things you can do as a form of self care. Welcome to Fearless Fridays, where we are talking about everything health and wellness related. My name is Dr. Melissa Chofi. I am the owner of New Quest Physical Therapy, a mobile practice serving areas in New York and Connecticut. There is so much misinformation out there in regard to the medical field, and with our healthcare model increasingly putting profits over patients, you as consumers need to be given all the tools you need to demand what you deserve, ensuring a strong, resilient, fulfilled, and fearless life. My goal is to empower all of you to stand up for yourselves and be able to call bullshit in a realm that is confusing as fuck. Let's get into the episode. So I just want to preface this by saying that I am not a psychologist. I do not have any background in mental health besides my undergrad education, which was like a long time ago. But I have no licensing in this. I'm just speaking from a perspective of goal setting for myself and the way I goal set with my clients. So with goal setting, it takes a lot of mindfulness about what's going on inside of us and a lot of internal work. And I know the term internal work gets thrown around a lot. And it's like, oh, you just got to work on what's inside and you just got to do a lot of internal work. But again, we're given that bone, but we're not really told where to go with it. And a lot of people don't understand how to do that really important work when it's one of the most important things you can do for yourself and your mindset and your body and your emotions and your mental capacity, all of that. We don't know how to do that. So right now I'm hearing a lot of the no excuses bullshit, and theoretically we do have a lot more time, being that a lot of us have what's called stay-at-home orders, meaning that we're not really supposed to be going out as much as we were before. So on paper it looks like we have a lot more time, but in reality, many of us are taking on a lot of new roles. So moms are now becoming teachers to their kids. They're also having to hold down their job at home. A lot of their partners are working from home, so they're also kind of serving as a coworker for that partner. So that's a lot of added roles that are thrown into the mix. So you might even have less time than you did before, and even more so, less time to yourself. So this is a stress that you're not used to, being that your life pretty much has been upended with this whole crisis that's going on. We don't know how long it's going to last. And it's a whole new way of life that you were just thrown into with no real roadmap or plan on how to navigate what your new home situation is going to look like. So for these social media influencers and health coaches and all of this coming at you from every which way on social media screaming, now you have the time, you need to take care of yourself. That's just added on an additional stress that you really don't need right now. And I know a lot of women are feeling, and probably men too, a lot of people are feeling just this level of desperation. Like, I don't know what to fucking do right now. Like, I'm losing my shit at home. I want to take care of myself, but I just mentally, I don't know if I can do that. So with all of this, we already have the added pressure of where we feel like we should be in life and where we should be with our day-to-day stuff. That's totally different now. And then we're getting this added pressure from social media influencers and just social media in general. And that combined is creating this crazy amount of stress on our bodies. So we're in this like hyper active state where it's basically fight or flight. We're not paying attention to what's going on, what we're feeling. Like, we're basically given band-aids, like hard workouts or bubble baths or mani-pedis or whatever they're telling you to do those are just band-aids to something that's bigger that's going on inside. So what we really want to focus on is what is going on inside. What's our body telling us? What are we feeling? What are the emotions that are going through our brains? And how are we going to attack those versus how are we going to just suppress them with little band-aid fixes? Because that doesn't do anything. Think about, and I mentioned this a while ago in another episode of Fearless Fridays, think about anything that you've been told by diet culture, whether it's eat clean all the time, or you have to work out 7 days a week, or you have to work out, hard workout 30 minutes each day. Why did none of that stick? Because you're paying attention to aesthetic things. You're not really paying attention to the internal stuff that's going on. So external solutions are never going to fix an internal problem, whatever that may be. Like whether you're unhappy with yourself as a person or whatever it is, a low self-esteem issue, whatever that is only going to be fixed with real internal work. And when I say internal work, it's not easy. An example is, I want to work out. But why do you want to work out? How does working out make you feel? Besides what your body physically looks like and what goals you want to achieve that way, what is your main goal? Is it to get energy? Is it to reduce muscle stiffness? Is it to maintain your strength during the quarantine? Does it lift your mood? Are there any workouts that make you feel great? Are there any workouts that make you feel shitty? If you were to envision yourself working out, how do you feel during that workout and after the workout? If you didn't want to work out, why is that? Did you not get enough sleep? Are you stressed out? Are you anxious? Do you need to do something different? Like, see how many components go into that? That's the internal piece, and that's what's really, really important. And that's what's going to fuel your self-care, because you're finally paying attention to what's going on inside of you and what you actually need versus trying to suppress this, holy fucking shit, my life is totally different. I need to get my shit together and do everything and be superwoman because now I have the time. That's not self-care. That's the opposite of self-care. So this internal piece can apply to anything between exercise to the way you eat to you wanting to get out of bed or not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Really doing like a body scan and a brain scan pretty much, and really recognizing what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way and doing a self-audit before doing anything is really, really important because it's getting to your why and what's going on inside of your brain and what's fueling you versus what's hindering you, what's stressing you out versus what's bringing you joy. And right now, there's so much stuff going on that doing things to bring us joy is really important for our overall health, especially now, especially with physical distancing, and especially when we're being bombarded with so many conflicting messages that we just don't know what's right and what's not. So this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. We spend a lot of our lives being distracted. So it's no wonder that this actually seems like harder than you would think it was. We're on our phones all the time. We're looking at social media. We don't really know how to feel what's going on. Sometimes we're even told to suppress that and distract ourselves from that feeling by doing something else. Like, have you ever heard the whole thing where it's like, oh, if you're feeling sad, well, just go out for a walk. Or you're feeling hungry, just go out for a walk. That's not getting to the root of what's going on inside of us. It's not getting to the root of what we need to actually confront and deal with. And all of that being said, it's no wonder, like, we can't go from 0 to 360 just because we have more time since we're home now. We don't have more time. We have a lot to straighten out as far as our new lives are. And if you try to go from 0 to 360, this increases risk of injury. And I'm not even just talking physical. I'm also talking emotional and mental, because you're not addressing things that are actually really important. You can't just jump in wholeheartedly to something you're not used to doing, especially if you're already under duress. We actually need time to address what we need right now, and now is a great time to do that. So journaling, I actually have journal prompts that are coming out. I'll post them in the notes to this. They're a really great way to kind of start self-assessing and seeing where you're at and where you need to be and guiding your self-care that way. And everyone's self-care looks different, and that's totally okay. You might need sleep because you haven't slept for a full night in 2 weeks. Or John down the street might need to jump into a home CrossFit workout because that's what he's been used to. And now that the gyms are closed, he needs to get that outlet again that really makes his body and his brain feel good. And then Susan might need to go and do her home yoga virtual class because that's what makes her body and her brain feel good. None of that is wrong. It's everybody is so different. We're all individuals. So being told that you need to jump into this balls to the wall workout program because you have time now and you don't want to be lazy and you need to earn your Netflix when you weren't really doing crazy workouts before is not a form of self-care. It's the opposite. And not to sound like a bitch, but it's going to set you up for failure. So if you're seeing any accounts like that and they're pressuring and shaming you, please unfollow them. That's one form of self-care you can do because feeling shame is the opposite of self-care as well. The important thing really at the end of the day is just to listen to your body. Like I said before, we're so used to tuning out our feelings and our emotions and what our physical self is feeling that now is the time, if you're going to do anything different, is to get back in touch with all of those innate feelings once again. You just have to listen to it. It's going to tell you exactly what it needs. You just got to be open to listening. So as I always say, keep educating yourselves, ask questions, demand better of your healthcare and your healthcare providers, and most importantly, stay fearless. And we'll see you next week.